Okay, so we've been working on asking questions, all right? We know that you're more engaged when you read, when you ask questions, and when you pay attention to those questions. So it's kind of like when I talked to you at the beginning of the year about not fake reading. You're really paying attention to what your brain's doing, you're more engaged. Our brain asks questions all the time. What we're having to do is really pay attention to those questions and think about them, okay? So yesterday we asked questions to help us make predictions. Today we're going to talk about how readers can deepen their understanding by asking a variety of questions. Variety means a bunch of different kinds of questions, all right? So one way that you can understand the questions better is something called QAR, question, answer, relationship. If you understand where you're going to find the answers when you have a question, it's going to help you better understand what you're reading. So I'm going to pass these, and we're going to be looking at these as I talk about the next little bit. Just pass them back, keep the extras at the back, and we'll gather them up in a minute. Everybody get one? Okay, there are four basic kinds of questions that we're going to be thinking about. And we're going to be thinking about the relationship between the question and the answer, or how can we find the answer, okay? Two of them are called in-the-book questions. The answer is right in the book. And two of them are called in-my-head questions. One of them, you have to use the book to help you, and one of them, you don't even need the book there to answer the question, okay? So I want to start with the first one. It's called right there questions. And we're going to learn some little symbols here to help you remember them. Right there, okay? Remember this from last year? Okay? So, right there questions, the answer is in the text. It's right there. You can find it, and they're usually found right in the same sentence. Okay? Some of the right there questions are questions like who is? Who is the main character? Josh McGuire. Okay. Where is? What is? Those kind of questions are right there questions. Okay. The next ones are the think and search. Think and search. Okay. You need to put together different pieces of information from the text to answer it. You're going to find the answer in different places in the book. So if we summarize, we have to go to the beginning and go all the way to the end. That's a think and search if they ask you to summarize. What caused it, explain, those kinds of questions are think and search questions. Both of those are the ones that we call in the book questions. Okay, the next two, author and me is how I do it. How did you guys do it? Author and me, or author and you, it doesn't matter. Basically what that means is the answer is not in the story. You have to think about what the author told you and then do that great inferring work that we've been working on. So it's author and me. Author and me. You read what the author says and then you have to infer using your schema. Okay? Author and me. The last one is on my own. Got it. Okay? On my own ones are the ones that you don't even have to have the book there to answer them. So I'm going to do 4 questions that I could ask from Josh McGuire. And I'm going to model how I figure out what kind of a question it is. And then you guys are going to try it with a story that you know really well. Okay? So let's start. I'm going to start with, and I'm going to just show you what my thinking while I do this. Okay? Have you ever had to stand up for something you believed in? I don't need Rescue Josh McGuire to answer that. That's a on my own question. Because it doesn't really matter what book it's kind of a a life lesson, but it doesn't matter which book I'm reading. That's one where I have to think back and I have to think, yeah, one time my friends wanted to shoplift and they wanted me to distract the sales clerk. And I had to stand up and say, that's not right, I'm not doing it, I'm not even going to the store with you. Okay? What did Josh take with him when he ran away? Ooh, the characters mentioned, so I know I'm going to have to use the book. That's kind of a hint. Now I have to decide, is it going to be in the book, or is it going to be one of those ones where I infer? What did Josh take with him when he ran away? Oh, that's in the book. So now I got to narrow it down to, is it up right there, or I think and search? Well, that one took a lot of things with him. And when he was packing up, it took several pages of me reading. So that one's a think and search question, because it started with him going to the house and getting the food, and then going out and getting stuff out of the shed, and then remembering the cycle and getting the cycle. All of those things were things he packed up to take with him, but that was a think and search. I'd have to go back through the book to find them all, right? Where did Josh find the cub? Well, there's the character again, so the answer's got to be tied to the book somehow. I have to decide if it's in the book or one that I use my head for. Well, that one's in the book, and it's right there. The gut pile. Where did he find the cub? The gut pile. It was a right there question, wasn't it? What do you suppose will happen if it keeps storming? Well, I'm going to use all the information the author gave me about the text, but then I have to use my own thinking. So that's an author and me. Okay? So let's practice these. If it's right there, what are you going to do? Right there. If it is a author and you, author and me or you. What if it's a think and search? It's in the book, but you got to look for it. Think and search. And what if it is one that it doesn't really matter if you have the book or not to answer it? On my own. All right? We're going to try this with a story that you guys know really well. You're not going to say anything. You're going to do this, or this, or, no, or, okay, you ready? Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You ready for one? Has anyone ever mistreated your property? On my own. I don't really need that story to answer that. Okay? How many bears were there in the story? Right there. Okay? In the title, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's right there. Okay? What do you suppose the three bears did after Goldilocks left? Author and me. Doesn't tell you in the story what they do. You have to infer. I'm inferring they probably had to clean up a big mess. How about you? So that's one of those ones where it's about the story, but the answer's not in the story. Author and me, or author and you. That one was tricky. What kind of trouble did Goldilocks cause for the bears? Think and search. All the way through the story. She sat in a chair and broke it. She ate their porridge. She slept in their bed. We'd have to read through the whole thing. We'd have to think and search to find all the problems she caused. Let's try one more. What did Goldilocks eat? Porridge. What did she eat? Porridge. Okay. All right. So, today when you're reading, what you're going to do is you're going to write down your questions, and you're going to be doing that thinking. You're going to think about that relationship between the question that you have and where you might find the answer. So after you write down your question, I want you thinking, am I gonna have the book to answer this? And is it one of those in the book questions? Or is it one of those in my head questions? Now, one of the in my head questions, you use part of the book to help you answer it. One of the in my head questions, you don't even need the book to answer it, do you? So the one is when you make an inference. And the other one is kind of your opinion type question. Most of the questions that you guys ask are think and search and author and you. You guys do lots of inferring type questions, lots of wonderings. Really.
I think that the author and you questions are a combination of think and search and on your own.
They are. They're kind of right there in between, and that's the kind that you guys do most of the time. Good. So today when you read, you're going to write down questions that you have and then say, what kind of a question is this? And see if you can figure out whether it's a right there, think and search, author and me, on my own. Okay? Any questions? Off you go.